David and Jen have one son together, 8-year-old Matt. David also has a 17-year-old son, Chuck, from his first marriage. Matt worships his older half-brother, but Chuck's not too interested in an 8-year-old. David's been in the National Guard for almost 20 years now. With another deployment anticipated within the year, he and Jen are concerned about Matt's level of anxiety and would love to strengthen the relationship between their two boys.
Matt's the one we're worried about. He's 8, a sweet little guy, but a big worrier. How's he going to manage when his dad's away? He worries so much already about his grandma, my mom, who's been hospitalized twice for emphysema from cigarettes. Matt asks me all the time, is Grandma okay? Can she breathe? Is she going to die? He went to the school nurse complaining of stomach aches when she was hospitalized the last time.
I'm sure it was stress. I mean, this is a kid who rescues insects around the house, even ants. Chuck teases him about it, calls him captain of the Insect Rescue League.
When he's not worrying, Matt's a good student who loves science and adores art. His best friend is his 12-year-old cousin, Janice, super smart girl. She wants to be a filmmaker. She and Matt already make their own nature videos, just like National Geographic. They both want to film monkeys in Africa.
Jen's already dreading my deployment. We've been through it before, so you'd think she'd be a little less worried, but she's not.
Well, last time Matt was only 2, so he didn't understand that David could get hurt, but now he does. I know it isn't good for me to be so worried. I'm worrying about worrying. I'll be worried about David, and then Matt will be worried about David and me. It doesn't help that he's the only kid in his class with a dad in the service. I know finding other moms going through the same thing will help me.
I'd like to do whatever I can before I go, so Jen and Matt won't be so upset.
Does Jen's pre-deployment worrying sound familiar to you? Can you relate to the feeling that the deployments don't get easier? Matt is a worrier, and so is his mother. If Jen and David came to see me together, I'd start by letting them know that I really appreciate both of them coming in together. When two parents come in and talk about their child, I can get both their viewpoints, and we can work on ways each of them can be helpful. It's common for worrying to run in the family, and it's easy for a worried parent to increase a child's worries too. Jen's aware of the effect she can have on Matt, and she and David want to find ways to help him be less anxious. David's calm is a good balance for Jen, but now he'll be away. The good part of Jen's anxiety is that it allows pre-planning and problem solving. She's right to recognize that deployment for Matt at 2 was a different experience than it will be for Matt at age 8. I like to ask parents to tell me about how their child coped with another challenge, so that we can use that experience to anticipate the coping during the deployment. Matt's worries increased when his grandmother was in the hospital. Likely, he and his mother were worrying, and he had stress stomach aches then. We all feel our feelings in our bodies, and worry is often experienced as a stomach ache by a child. Tension can be felt as a headache or neck or back pain, and fear or grief often sit on our chests like a big weight. We can help our children separate out emotional feelings from illness feelings by identifying the difference, even though they can feel the same. Jen could say to Matt, "The school nurse told me you had a tummy ache. Do you think it was something you ate, or do you think it was worries about Grandma?" At a younger age, a parent might say, "Do you have the kind of tummy ache that goes with needing to poop, or the kind that goes with needing some extra hugs?" If emotional distress isn't responded to with openness and warmth, children can learn to deny their emotions and will talk about their feelings only as aches and pains. Knowing when physical symptoms are really expressions of stress helps us know how to ease that pain. Matt's parents said he's creative, an artist, and perhaps a budding filmmaker. In my experience, these skills can be a great outlet for dealing with stress. Matt's artistic side also connects him with his favorite cousin. During the months ahead, Matt may find that working on films at Janice's house is a good escape from the worries that might be more present at his home. At difficult times, a friend's home is an oasis, because life there is unchanged and time spent with a friend is just fun. School can be an oasis too, so Jen and David might want to go into Matt's school now to talk to his teachers about the upcoming deployment. They could brainstorm ideas for helping Matt share his experience with his classmates. You can go to the Home-Based Community Center for ideas about classroom projects and see the link to the documentary about how schools can help enhance resiliency when a parent is deployed. When David is in theater, he can let Jen know whether Skyping with the family or even with Matt's class might be something they could do. It's important to be thoughtful, though, about how a parent service is discussed. The school should always be informed of your family's changes, but your child should determine how much is shared with classmates or kept private between teacher and child. In my experience, even children as young as Matt have an opinion about how they want family news to be shared or not shared. Many families have the opportunity to Skype during deployment, but those conversations don't always go as smoothly as we hoped. I'd want to talk with David and Jen about this. Computer-to-computer conversations are a special opportunity, but they often occur at unpredictable times when the parent and the child may be engaged in hectic daily activities. In my experience, many children who love and miss a parent struggle to connect emotionally with the computer image of their parent. For the parent in theater and the parent at home, this normal reaction by an unsettled child can be upsetting or hurtful. One suggestion is that families create a communication box to help these conversations flow more easily. Children often enjoy decorating a cardboard box, which becomes the place to put schoolwork, artwork, or messages the child can share when the next call comes in. Even if, for example, Matt's not home when David calls, Jen can share what's been stored in the box. Then she can report back about David's reaction. Jen and Matt can anticipate David's enthusiasm every time something new is placed in the box. Jen might say, "Dad's going to love this drawing you did," or "I can't wait to tell Dad about the dragonfly you caught." Imagining his dad's enthusiasm can help Matt feel connected. Finally, Jen and David recognize that David's son, Chuck, is a key person in Matt's life, and know deployment will be harder if Matt also stops seeing his big brother. Relationships can be complicated in blended families, so it would be ideal if David talked with his older son now before deployment. He could get a sense of how Chuck is anticipating his father's upcoming absence, what the challenges of deployment will be for his teenage son. It will be different at 17 than it was for him at 11, and whether it's even realistic to expect Chuck to be there for Matt. In the Home-Based Community Center, you'll find more about communication boxes and also a guide to talking with teens. We welcome your ideas there, too. I'd want to talk with David and Jen about their ideas for how Chuck could stay comfortably connected with them while his dad's away. For example, if they're used to weekly dinners together, maybe these could continue. If Chuck or Jen feel uncomfortable about them, or if Chuck wants to stay closer to his mom's home during the deployment, then maybe a Wednesday night phone call to Matt would be the plan. Talking and planning is the key, and being realistic. So, first, it's always great to have the perspective of both parents. Worriers have the advantage of being able to anticipate challenges and problem solve. How a child reacts to other challenges is often indicative of his or her coping style, so past reactions can guide the planning for the future. Take advantage of the comfort of a best friend's home and also make school a good comfort zone by talking and problem solving with the teacher's help. Planning for the good part and the challenges of communication between the deployed parent and home is important. And finally, have a plan that's realistic and recognizes blended families may function differently when one parent is deployed. Less but predictable is almost always better than more and irregular. If you're Matt, expecting your cool big brother to show up only to be disappointed is hard under the best of circumstances, and even harder when your dad is deployed. Chuck may find that caring for his younger, worried brother helps him manage his own worries, while feeling good about being a role model and support. Challenges are often opportunities for growth. Did Matt remind you of your child or another child you know? Please let us know if this video was helpful by rating it. Also, let us know if you'd recommend it to another parent or a friend. Thank you for sharing your feedback. It's important to us.